Hi friends, welcome back to our study classes. So today we are going to discuss this very important topic for our upcoming examination, which is impact of demonetization on Indian economy. So we are all aware that this demonetization exercise, it was carried out in India recently in 2016. So we are going to talk about what is demonetization and how it impacted the different sectors of the Indian economy. So let's start this discussion. So friends, let's learn about demonetization. So what is demonetization? Demonetization is the decision of the government in which the legal status of the currency it is evoked, it is cancelled. So a currency is no longer a legal tender. Any currency which is a legal tender, it means that the RBI guarantees that particular currency. RBI assures that any person who is going to hold that currency, RBI is going to give him that much amount of value. But once a currency stops to be a legal tender, then RBI has no liability on that particular currency. That currency note cannot be used for the purpose of transactions. Now the central bank of every country, okay, not only in India but for every country, it follows this practice that old currency notes, they are usually evoked, their status is cancelled down, and new currency notes with better features they are issued. In India, one of a very important event which happened was on 8th of November 2016. This is the date which we all remember. Okay, PM Modi ji coming in the evening on TV and saying that now rupees 500 and rupees 1000 notes are not going to be valid. Okay, so the denomination of rupees 500 and rupees 1000, it was demonetized with immediate effect and they were no longer a legal tender. These notes, they were required to be deposited in the banks by 30th of December 2016. So at one stroke, 86% of the cash which was in circulation at that point of time was rendered totally invalid. Now let's also try to understand this, whether this demonetization which happened in 2016, was this the first demonetization for India? No, this was not the first instance of demonetization in India. Okay, the first instance of demonetization, it was in 1946. In 1946, RBI demonetized rupees 1000 and rupees 10,000 notes. And later, new denomination notes, okay, new notes, they were issued for rupees 1000, rupees 5000 and rupees 10,000. Okay, 1946 may demonetize and 1954 may again the high denomination banknotes, they were reintroduced. But then again in 1978, these high denomination notes, they were again demonetized by the Morarji Desai government which was then in power. So rupees 10,000 note, it was there earlier, it is not now. So rupees 10,000 note, it was initially printed in 1938 and in 1934. 1938 note, it was demonetized in 1946 and 1954 note, it was demonetized in 1978 by the Morarji Desai government. So this would become the third instance of demonetization after number one 1946 and second one 1978. So this is something which you must remember. Now let's try to look at the main motives behind 2016 demonetization. Okay, the first one is to curb corruption. We all know that high denomination currency notes, they are used to bribe officials. Okay, huge bags of money containing lakhs and crores of money, they are used to bribe officials, to bribe mantris, ministers. So once these notes, they are demonetized, they are rendered invalid, so a corruption could be curbed to some extent. Also, whatever amount of money has been already piled up by the corrupt mantris, corrupt officials, that would become totally invalid, useless after demonetization. So this was the objective. Second is to eliminate counterfeiting or fake currency. So if the original currency notes, they are invalid, automatically the fake currency notes, they would lose all their value. The fake currency notes, they had value because they resembled the original currency notes. Once original currency notes, they are no longer valid, the fake currency notes would also become totally invalid. So the increasing number of fake currency, it was a major challenge and it was automatically dealt with by this demonetization exercise. Another objective was to tackle terrorism in the country. So the terrorist activities, they were increasing, and all the terrorist activities, they demand money, they demand financing, and this is mainly in the form of high denomination notes. So these denomination notes, they are also used for terrorist, naxalist activities, drugs and human trafficking. So once they were demonetized, all those activities, they were also impacted. To eradicate black money in the country, okay, so the black money is that money on which no tax has been paid, okay, which has not been declared to the income tax authorities, on which the tax has been evaded. So huge amounts of money was there with with different sorts of people, with business people, with entrepreneurs. So they had this huge pile of money they had accumulated on which no tax was paid. This may have been accumulated for the purpose of maybe bribing the officials, for the purpose of corruption. So all those piles of money which was there of rupees 500 and rupees 1000 currency notes, it became totally invalid as the notes were demonetized. So every person, whatever amount of money, whatever amount of undeclared money he or she was having, had to declare that money, had to put that money in the bank account and had to deposit tax on it. So the black money, it was eradicated by this exercise. Second is improved digital transactions in the country. So if the currency notes, they are demonetized, so in the short term definitely people are going to use more and more of digital modes of payment, and in the long run also people may feel good to use the digital modes of payment and their use, it may improve. Then is lower cash to GDP ratio. Now in India we have a high cash to GDP ratio. A high proportion of the GDP is in the form of cash. So in the other countries, in the other developed countries, advanced countries, we are seeing that this proportion is very lower. So for India also, we wanted to lower this cash to GDP ratio, and this was again one of the motive behind 2016 demonetization. Now, why only high denomination notes they were targeted? So there may be a question in your mind, why the government only demonetized the rupees 500 and rupees 1000 notes? Why not demonetize even 100 or 50 rupee notes as well? Now, one of the reason is that high value notes, they were associated with corruption. You may say, sir, why only high value denomination notes? Sometimes it may happen that small value notes, they may also be associated with corruption. Okay. Now, high value denomination notes, they are easier to carry. They are easier to store value. You can store value in a rupee 1000 note. Okay. Just one note, and rupees 100, you need 10 notes. So it's easier to store value in high value notes. So they are primarily used for corruption. So it was one of the primary reason. And RBI also had a proper logic for it. Now this logic, it was given. Let's take a look at the logic as well. So the RBI data, it showed that in India, low denomination notes had a soil rate of 33% per year. So if we talk about the low denomination notes, 33% notes, they are soiled every year. They become useless every year. They may be torn out. Okay, they may be washed out. So they are to be replaced every year. Okay, 33% notes have to be replaced. But if we talk about rupees 500 and rupees 1000 notes, the soil rate was just 22% for 500 and 11% for rupees 1000 notes. So they were not getting soiled. It means that they were not actually being used for transactions. They were just stacked up. They were just used as a pile of black money. They were not actually being used for transactions. So that's why it was estimated that a huge amount of money, which is the black money, is going to be in rupees 1000 and rupees 500 notes and is not being actively used by people. So that's why these notes, they were targeted and they were demonetized. Now let's take a look at the positive impacts of demonetization. So first is increase in tax collection. So the tax collection in the country definitely improved. Why it improved? Because more and more people, they had deposited money in the bank accounts, undeclared money, the previous black money they had deposited, and they filed ITRs, income tax returns, and deposited tax on it. Then is to tackle black money. We have already learned about tackling the black money part. Impacts on terrorism, Naxalism, and trafficking. We have also seen about it, how the activities, they were impacted, they were stopped. Increase in digital transactions. We have also learned that the digital transactions could improve because of demonetization. And also, what would happen? Some of the new deposits would ultimately remain in the bank. So the people, they put in all the money in the bank and they are not going to eventually take down the entire money from the bank. All the money is not going to be withdrawn. Some of the money is going to remain eventually the part of the banking system. So the money in the banking system is eventually going to rise, and this money can be used for giving more and more loans. This money can be used by banks to generate more and more credit, perhaps at lower interest rate. So this was again one of the positive impact of demonetization. If we take a look at the negative side of demonetization, okay, demonetization also had a negative side. It was criticized also by many people. So if you take a look at the negative side, one is cash crunch. Okay, the majority of the population, it was not using plastic money, it was not using digital payments. So they faced a cash crunch. They could not make payments for the goods they wanted to buy. Negative impact, it was also felt across the different segments of the economy, especially agriculture and industry. Okay, in agriculture, mainly people, they are using cash. Okay, they are not aware. Many farmers, they are not aware about digital modes of payment or debit card, credit card. So they were mainly using cash and they got impacted. In industry also, there is a huge amount of labor which is there, and that labor also, it got impacted because of demonetization. The worst impacted segments were those which relied on high volume cash transactions, such as organized and unorganized retail. Okay, so the retail industries which were totally dependent on cash, if you have to go to the market to buy some groceries, you generally paid for it in cash. Okay, now these days we just Paytm, we just Google Pay, we just UPI it, but earlier days we just to pay cash for it. Okay, so those transactions, they were very much impacted. IMF report states that the disruption caused by the cash shortages dampened consumer and business sentiments. Okay, so if the cash is not going to be with the people, they are not going to go to the market to buy more and more goods. So this impacted consumption, and ultimately the demand of goods declined, and this also impacted the manufacturing of the goods at the back end. The businesses, they felt that people are not demanding that much of goods, so the production declined, and ultimately the people that had been employed in those industries, they also lost their jobs. So this was this impact which was faced by the industry, which was faced by the consumers. Farmers also faced a cash crunch, as we have already discussed, because agrarian economy of the country, agriculture in India is primarily cash based. Small businesses got shut down, they limited their activities. BPL Indians, they lost their jobs temporarily and got into trouble. As industries, they shut down, the BPL Indians, they lost their jobs. Okay, to temporarily, later they got back the jobs, but this was the impact that was faced in short term. Due to lack of bank accounts and limited resources, poor and needy ones were most affected ones. Think of the poor people who had some savings with them in rupees 500 and rupees 1000 notes, but they did not have any proper bank account. So they were the most affected ones. They have no way they can deposit the money and they can get the new notes. They cannot utilize this old money to buy some resources for them. So they were very much affected by this demonetization exercise. So yes, demonetization also had a negative impact. Now we talk about three shocks as a result of demonetization. Okay, what are these? One is aggregate demand shock. What is this aggregate demand shock? Because the supply of the money in the economy, it was reduced. So it reduced the private wealth, the wealth of the people. Okay, it got reduced, especially that wealth which was unaccounted money. Okay, and the value of the real estate sector, it also got declined. So the private wealth got declined, the money with the people, it declined. So ultimately the demand, it got impacted. People were not making that much of demand as they were making earlier. Now, because of this demand shock, the supply would also get impacted. Okay, then the next is aggregate supply shock. So aggregate supply shock, to the extent that cash is necessary for economic activity. Okay, producers, they require cash to pay labor. Now, if you have to produce any goods, if you have to set up an industry, you have to hire labor and you have to pay them cash. Most of the workers, they generally want cash only because they do not have any proper bank accounts. So if you do not have any cash to pay to the workers, to the laborers, how are you going to get them to work for you? So this resulted in an aggregate supply shock as well. There was also this uncertainty shock, because there was this uncertainty about what is going to be the impact and duration of the move that has been introduced by the government. Okay, so this resulted in an uncertainty shock as well. Now let's take a look at the different impacts of demonetization on different sectors of the Indian economy. So this is something which we have taken from the economic survey, which was issued after the demonetization was carried out. So it segregated the impact into two. One is the short-term impact, effect through end December, and the second is likely long-term effect. So we are going to study like this only. So first is money or interest rates. Okay, if we talk about the short-term impact, then the cash with people, it declined sharply. The bank deposits, they definitely increased as people deposited more and more money in the bank. RBI's balance sheet in the short run, it largely remained unchanged, because the currency notes, they were returned to the bank and the bank would ultimately return these currency notes to RBI. RBI's liability was initially not impacted. And in the long run, RBI's liability may decline, because some of the currency notes, they may eventually not return to the banks or to the RBI. Interest rate on deposits, loans, government securities, they declined. So as more and more money went with the bank had surplus cash with them. So now they had surplus cash, but they did not have proper avenues in which the cash could be utilized. They could not give this particular cash to the different individuals as loans and charge high interest from them. So that's why the interest also declined on the deposits. Now, if you talk about the long-term impact on the money and the interest rate, In the long run, the cash would definitely recover, and it may happen that the cash with people, it may settle at a lower level and people may prefer keeping money in the bank and using digital modes of payment. The deposits, they increase sharply, but they would eventually decline because the people would take out the money from the bank, but they eventually may settle at a higher level. RBI's balance sheet, as talked about earlier, it may shrink because some of the notes may not return to RBI, although a huge amount was already returned to RBI, only a minor portion was left out. Loan rates in the long run, they could fall further if the deposit increase proves durable in the long run. Okay, if the deposits which the bank got, if the deposits, they were not withdrawn by the people, they remained with the bank, the loan rates could further fall. Okay, you could get cheaper loans, but then again, the interest which is going to be paid on the deposits, it could also decline. If you talk about the financial system savings, it increased in the short term, and in the long run also they could increase to the extent that the cash to deposit ratio falls permanently. Okay, cash you hold and the deposit you do in the bank, this ratio, okay, if this ratio falls, it means you are keeping less cash and more deposits in the bank. If this happens, then the savings in the financial system are definitely going to improve. If you talk about corruption, then the corruption, it could definitely decline in the long run, and for this we have to ensure that the incentives for compliance, they improve. We have to make sure there are no other avenues for corruption. Okay, people just comply with the tax laws rather than going for corruption. So this is something which had to be done in the long run to make sure the corruption levels come down. Now, if you talk about the unaccounted income or black money, okay, in the short run, unaccounted income or the black money, it definitely fell. Okay, many of the holders who had this black money, they deposited money in the bank and they came into the ambit of taxation authority. And in the long run also, as the economy gets formalized, the unaccounted income or the black money should definitely reduce. If you talk about private wealth, okay, the private sector wealth, it declined because private sector wealth, it comprised of the high denomination currency notes and real estate prices. Okay, so some high denomination currency notes, they were not returned and their value became zero. And also the real estate prices, they were also impacted because most of the black money, okay, most of the unaccounted money, it was used for real estate transactions. So the real estate prices, it also fell because of this demonetization exercise. If we talk about the long-term impact, if the real estate prices, they continue to decline, the wealth may fall further. If you talk about public sector wealth, it had no effect, but in the long run, the government or the RBI's wealth, it may increase because its liabilities may decline. If all the currency notes, they are not returned to RBI, its liability, it may decline and its wealth, it may ultimately increase. If you talk about formalization or digitalization, okay, the digital transactions initially, they gained sharply. Okay, many people started to use digital modes of payments, and in the long run also many people, they are going to use the digital modes, but some may return to cash as the cash supply normalizes. Now, if you talk about real estate, okay, the real estate, the prices, they declined, as we have seen in the short run, the prices declined, and in the long run as well, the prices could decline if it becomes difficult for people to park their undeclared income or black money in real estate. If you talk about broader economy, okay, in the broader economy, especially in the cash intensive sectors, we witnessed job losses. People lost their jobs. There was a decline in farm incomes. There was complete social disruption, social chaos arising because of demonetization, especially in the initial few days. And as the economy it is remonetized, the money supply is restored, the economy would gradually stabilize. Okay, so these were only short-term impacts which were seen. If you take a look at the tax collection, okay, tax collection, income taxes definitely rose because many people deposited money in the bank and they filed their tax returns. So the taxes, they increased. Also, the government allowed that if you have to pay any money to the local bodies or the distribution companies, electricity companies, you could definitely use the old currency notes as well. So many of the areas of those agencies, local bodies and electricity companies, they were cleared because people, they deposited those dues. If we take a look at the likely long-term impact, the tax collection, it increased in the short run, but it can decline in the long run to the extent the economic growth, it gets impacted. Okay, so in the long run, economic growth, it may get impacted because some of the sectors, it got impacted due to demonetization. So that the tax collection, it may decline initially, but if we talk about a very long duration, over the very long run, tax should increase. Okay, tax base should increase as economy becomes more and more formalized and the compliance rate it improves. The people, they try to be in the formal net, they try to use digital banking, formal modes of payment, and avoid using cash and other black money avenues for the purpose of transactions. If we talk about uncertainty, so initially uncertainty increased because everyone was unsure about how the economy is going to be impacted. Okay, everyone was definitely impacted by it because there was uncertainty surrounding the future. But in the long run, uncertainty is going to decline and credibility is going to be restored as remonetization occurs. Now, if you talk about the impact on GDP, okay, if you talk about the impact on GDP, then the growth, it slowed. Okay, initially in the short run, the growth slowed, the GDP declined because the demonetization resulted in demand shock and supply shock, and it increased uncertainty. Cash intensive sectors like agriculture and real estate, they were the worst affected. If you talk about the long-term effect, then in the long run, as the economy gets more and more formalized, informal sector, it declines, people start coming into the formal net, they start paying proper taxes, they start following proper laws, they take proper registrations. So in the long run, the GDP of the economy, it may increase. Now let's understand how the demonetization affects the government. Okay, if you talk about the positive impact, demonetization will redistribute the resources from the private sector to the government. So the resources, they went from the private sector to the government. Okay, many dues, they were paid back to the government. So lots of taxes were paid to the government. So sort of redistribution of resources happened in this way. There was also this wealth gain because the RBI could gain, because not all the currency notes are going to come back to RBI. So its liability, it may reduce. So wealth may increase. Income taxes could go up as black money was deposited in the bank accounts. People would file their returns and pay taxes. Now, if you talk about the negative impact of the demonetization on the government. So on the negative side, what we have here, the cost of the printing new notes over and above the normal replacement. Okay. Now the government had demonetized 500 and rupees 1000 notes. And now the new 500 and rupee 2000 notes, they were to be printed. So these new notes, they were to be printed, and it definitely came at a cost. You had to set up a printing press. If the printing press was already there, you would have to use paper, you would have to use ink, you would have to use electricity. So all those expenses, all those costs are going to be a negative impact for the government. Also, this liquidity, it increased in the banking system. Okay, liquidity increased in the banking system because more and more people, they deposited money in the banks. They deposited the old currency notes with the banks. So as old money entered into the banking system, this banking liquidity increased, and this surge in the liquidity, it was sucked out by the government by the issuance of the market stabilization scheme bonds. So government had to issue these bonds to suck the excessive liquidity in the system. Also, if the GDP growth declines, okay, we saw that the GDP growth could decline because many sectors of the economy, especially cash intensive sectors, they were impacted. There was a supply demand shock, uncertainty. So if the GDP growth declines, ultimately the tax revenues of the government could also decline. So this was the negative effect for the government in the case of demonetization. Now, if you talk about the currency notes demonetized, they are referred to as the specified bank notes. They are referred to as SBN. So these demonetized notes, rupees 500 and rupees 1000 notes, they were referred to as the specified bank notes officially by the government. The specified bank note, it means a bank note of the denomination value of 500 rupees or 1000 rupees which existed on or before 8th November 2016. So this is the official term which was used for these two currency notes. And the government, it notified Special Bank Note Cessation of Liabilities Act 2017 to prohibit holding, transferring or receiving of scrapped old rupees 500 and rupees 1000 currency notes from 31st December 2016. So the government, it also passed this law, and this law, it was passed to scrap the old currency notes, and no one could now use these for transactions. If anyone possessed more than 10 pieces of old currency notes, okay, and if you are doing some study or research, then you could hold up to 25 pieces. But you cannot hold more than that. If you held more than that, then you would be charged a fine of rupees 10,000 or 5 times the value of the cash which you are holding, whichever is higher. So this is again something which you should remember. Now after demonetization, new currency notes, they were issued. New rupees 500 note and new rupees 2000 notes, they were issued, as you can see on the screen. So the new rupees 500 note, if we talk about the color is stone gray, and it has a motif of red fort on the one side. Okay, the motif of Red Fort on the one side and Mahatma Gandhi on the other. So in the previous side, Red Fort, and on this side, we can already see Mahatma Gandhi ji. And the size is there, the numeral is Devanagari. Okay, the Devanagari numeral is being used, and it has portrait and electrotype watermarks. So watermarks are also being included. If you talk about the new rupees 2000 note, this was something which was very new for all of us that time. You know, the color is magenta, and this has a motif of the Mangalyaan on the reverse. So on its reverse, it had a motif of Mangalyaan. Also, there were some other currency notes which were in circulation, which were newly issued by RBI. So these notes, let's also take a look at their features as well. So the rupees 10 denomination note, chocolate brown color, as you can see on this side, Mahatma Gandhi portrait, Ashoka pillar emblem, Swachh Bharat logo, all of these were there. And the motif of Sun Konark temple, okay, Sun temple, which is there in Konark, it was printed on the back of this note. If you talk about the rupees 20 note again, Mahatma Gandhi, Ashoka pillar, Swachh Bharat logo, but here there was the motif of the Ellora caves. Here you can see the motif of the Ellora caves on the back. Also rupees 50, new note it was issued. Okay, it had portrait of Mahatma Gandhi ji. It had Ashoka emblem pillar, Swachh Bharat logo, but at the back it had this chariot motif of Hampi. Okay, the Hampi chariot motif, it was presented on the back. If you talk about the new rupees 100 note, again Mahatma Gandhi ji, Ashoka emblem pillar, Swachh Bharat logo, and on the back it had Rani Ka Vav motif. So this was there on the back of the rupees 100 currency note. And then there is also this rupees 200 currency note, which was again something new for us. And again, it had portrait of Gandhi ji, Ashoka emblem pillar, Swachh Bharat logo, and on the back it had this motif of Sanchi Stoop. So this Sanchi Stoop, it was there on the back of this rupees 200 currency note. So this is about our discussion on demonetization and its impact on the Indian economy. Now there is a concept check question for you guys. So this question is, one of the main motives behind 2016 demonetization exercise of the government was, options are to increase cash GDP ratio, to decrease cash GDP ratio, to maintain cash GDP ratio at a constant level, or none of the above. So friends, we have seen that the demonetization exercise, it had this motive to decrease cash to GDP ratio of the economy. So ultimately the answer is going to be option number B. So thank you friends. This is all about our today's discussion on the impact of demonetization on the Indian economy. So I believe I was able to explain to you how the demonetization, it was carried out, what was the different impacts of it in the short run, in the long run. So this is it for today. Bye bye. Take care. All the best.